Well, Tom, we're more on time tonight than we are normally. Normally, we're later than this.
Drastically.
I think we did better. I'm proud of us.
People might not be ready. They might be like, okay, I got like 10 more minutes.
Right. I got to walk the dog.
They're grabbing a drink.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Hey, look at that. I can pin it. I'm pinning it, Tom.
Nice.
Welcome to FFIB, everybody. I'm Jason. That's Tom. We are Finger Flicked in Box, and we're joined tonight by a very special guest, good friend of the show, good friend of the club, a damn fine-looking man, Joseph Vero himself. He's here, fresh on the heels of winning 2 Blade Show awards from Blade Show, Texas. Look at that.
Oh,
Beautifully displayed. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. First of all, thank you guys very much for having me back. I really appreciate it. Love this place. Love your group. Love coming on to hang out with you guys. And those things, I just happened to have them. I didn't even notice they were perfectly framed over my shoulder here. It's crazy, but there they are.
I mean, you'd think they'd blend in, but they don't. They actually just really pop. Right? In that
Yes,
spot.
they do. They're overt Texas.
Yeah, where was that show at? Blade Show?
Pretty sure it was Wichita. No, that's not. I can't remember.
County Fair? It was County Fair?
Yes, exactly. Hey guys, sorry, real quick. Should I be in to like check out the chat? I think I was wrong. I thought it was going to pop up over here. Should I like have a Facebook window open?
You should have a button on your screen that says comments
that you can click. Right-hand corner.
Got it. I was in private chat.
Ooh, there you go.
Technical difficulties. All right. Sorry to sorry.
Good.
All right. There we go.
We'll do it live to tape. There they are. Thanks, Matt Parker. Thanks for watching. Paula's here. Hey, Paula.
Hi, Paula.
Vic Wu, coin carrier.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for lending us Paula, because she is absolutely incredible. She's amazing. I wake up every day looking forward to seeing a pool picture of her, whatever her EDC is that day. Thank you, Paula, for being absolutely amazing in the group.
Did we loan her to you?
Yes, and I'm not giving her back. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
We'll have to have a joint custody agreement or something.
Right on.
Men want her, women want to be her. She's all over the knife community. I see her. Yeah, you're right. The pool posts every day. 19,000. That's right, Brad Dawson. We've got 19,000 members now.
Right. Congratulations,
Not a
guys.
small
That's
number.
Absolutely huge.
You know, Joseph, I don't know about your group, but we're blocking way more than we're letting in at this point.
Oh, yeah.
They're so suspicious. It's probably less than 20% are getting through, just because there's so many scam accounts. There's so many fake accounts. There's so many. Or basically, if they can't prove that they're legit, then we're not letting them in.
Right on. Yeah, we're not that level right now. I mean, we definitely get a lot of spam accounts, and we cross-reference EDC go or no go and look for the telltale signs. But yeah, it's definitely not that. It's definitely not that high. Sorry, you guys have to put up with that. Such a crazy thing that happened.
Well, Jason, I do go through and I cherry pick all the easy ones out.
Yeah, we all do. And then there's always like 25 hard ones that no one wants to handle.
60 in there this morning. There was like 60 bad ones in a row in there this morning. I just cleared them all up.
That's funny. Also, they come in waves. You'll see 10 or 15 in a row. They're all following the same strategy. It's like they just got out of sales class and they're learning how to, scam their way into a group.
Everybody's saying I'm lagging pretty bad.
I'm not seeing any lag.
Oh boy. All right.
Paul has been asking me for a minute because he has been aching to buy a knife, and so he's been messaging me about like, I think I might need this Axon Mini, and I'm like, I don't know. There's so many Veros. I can't tell you your first Vero what to choose.
I can get a Synapse. or whatever's available on the website. You should probably go to veroengineering.com and choose the one that's available. That would be a better way to go. But yeah, it's hard to beat a synapse, especially a lefty. Here I'm holding it right-handed. But thanks for making left-handed knives, Joseph.
You're quite welcome. And since you mentioned, we now have the lefty neurons.
What? Oh man, lefty neuron. That's awesome.
I'm not as good with my left hand.
Yeah, Tom, I went back and got a second. I got one with Damascus.
Oh, damn.
Yep.
You did it up.
I did. The Damascus looks good with marble carbon fiber.
Yeah,
it does.
It just works so well together.
Yep. So Joseph, tell us about your experience at Blade West. I'd like to know what it's like to. First of all, you probably heard that you were nominated, so you went to another room, right? Is that how that goes?
Yeah. So you submit your design, and you have to kind of be particular with which design you want for which category. And there's a lot of rules behind what you can and can't do, and how many you can and can't submit. So we picked 3 knives. It was our 3 new knives this year, and we submitted on best EDC folder. So excuse me, best factory folder. We did best factory fixed blade, and we did best import folder. And we did the Nova in the one that didn't win. So we go back there, and we're putting I make up these I laser these like table plates to put the cards to put the knives on. And so first I have to apologize if I'm a bit off today. I'm normally laying in bed, going to fall asleep right about now.
Yeah.
And we went kayaking today, so I'm
of course
gone. So took the family kayaking. It was fantastic. All right.
Wow.
So we so normally you go back and you put your knife down on a table in a section for that particular category. And I was back there early, put my knife down, and didn't really think too much about it. Later on, I found out that they had to add tables because that's how many knives were submitted in some categories. Then they said, all right, judging is done. You can come back and get your knives. And we were in line to get back into the room. That's how many people entered. It was crazy.
Wow.
So, I wasn't really thinking too much about it. They let us know that we should, be at the venue at 8 p.m., not to miss anything. So we were. I was sitting with Paul, Paul, Jason, right? And Michelle, my wife. And we were sitting there, and they went through the categories, and they went through the EDC category which was in Nova, and a phenomenal knife won that, and I'm not upset at that at all. And then they got to the fixed blade, and they called my name, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was very, very surreal. I was not expecting to win. It was a very amazing experience. Got up, walked past some of the people that I respect the most in this industry. It was shaking my hands and, saying congratulations as I went up. Got the award. So got the fixed blade award. Shook the host's hands, went back to my seat. As I'm walking back to my seat again, congratulations, just an absolutely surreal, incredible experience. I go to sit down, and Paul hits me. And I was like I thought it was almost one of those things like, congratulations hit, but it was a hard hit. I was like, what? And he's like pointing at the screen, and they just called Vero. I didn't even hear it. They called Vero Engineering. They mentioned the Lux, and I'm just in a daze trying to get back to my seat. And he hits me and tells me to go back up. I go back up, no idea. I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing right now. I kind of wanted to like cheer or something, but I knew that probably wasn't cute. So I just walked back up and shook their hand again. The lady said, "You should have seen your wife's face. It was hilarious. I wish we took a picture of it." Or she guess wasn't expecting it. I didn't even think I could win two. Like I knew I could
Right.
win two. I know people have won two.
Right.
It just never crossed my mind that would happen. And it did. And the knife is made by Riot. So I'll show it off now. So
I'm so happy for you.
This
is a really, really beautiful knife, and not to. I mean, we're friends, so this is selfish, but I think it's long overdue that you would be recognized. So congratulations, and that knife in particular is one that's I think it's really going to, I don't know, take you to the next level. Perhaps like people are really going to love this knife, I think.
Thank you. I will say though, a lot of people were questioning, like how come you haven't won before? I never really submitted too many knives before. Like I don't want to say that like, oh, I submitted, therefore I won, but I do want to say like people were questioning whether or not Blade Show was snubbing me for the past 4 years or something. We only started submitting them, I think, last year. So I'm very, I don't want to I don't know how that sounds either way, but yeah, so Riot, David Dang from Riot was actually right up near the area where I got the award. So I was able to shake his hand because I mean I owe him a lot for
sure
turning that design in.
Sure.
And went back and sat down and I just couldn't believe it. It was one of the crazy experiences of my life. I
know there's a knife maker, guys, that you should all follow on Instagram. His name is John Horrigan. He's from Texas, and he makes fixed blades, folders, and autos. And he forges his own Damascus by hand himself to make the patterns that he wants to use. And his patterns are the most intricate I've ever seen in Damascus. And he makes a knife, for example, inlaid with 1 ounce of gold. It has diamonds in it, precious gems in it. These knives are unbelievably beautiful. And I remember he had an auto on his table, and I asked him, if you only did this all year long, how many of these could you make in a year? And he said 4. So to give you an idea of the man hours in his work, like just the art level is insane. And he was telling me that in all of his career making knives, he's never won an award. And he won one at the same show that you did.
Oh, wow.
But
that's amazing.
Looking at his table, I was just like, this is a crime that this man hasn't been recognized for his work yet. And so if he couldn't win for decades, then it tells me like this is really not easy to win. There's a lot of factors involved here, and it's generally it's a judging panel, isn't it? There's 3 to 5 people that decide who the winners are.
Right.
So
yeah,
it's not a foregone conclusion that an awesome knife is going to win an award.
Right. No, absolutely. And we won best factory folder and best factory fixed blade, like the 2 holy grails of a production company. You know what I'm saying? Like if I won one of those, it's just an incredible, crazy experience. But we won both, which is, I'm so lucky that happened. It's such an amazing thing.
The question,
you,
people
Chad.
couldn't hear what I said. His name was John Horrigan. That was the knife maker I said. So that's a pretty cool. You go to the show, you win 2 awards. I'm assuming how was the reception from the crowd? Usually your booths are among the more full at the show. You walk by 3 or 4 times thinking, I'll see him later. It's full right now. No, that's normal.
Yeah. So I was a little bit worried about Texas because the Utah show, Blade Show West last year, Friday was pretty good. Saturday was a little bit light. And I've never been to the Texas show. Actually, I went to the Texas show last year, but Paul and I just went to like walk around and check out things because I don't really get to do that anymore. So it was a perfect opportunity for me to do that. So I saw that it was a busy show, but I didn't know, in terms of like Blade Show West or Blade Show Atlanta, like where it fell. So Friday was interesting because I hadn't won the awards yet at that point, and the table was just packed. We had a single booth. It was a corner booth, and not until 4 p.m. was the table empty once, which is incredible. Like you can't ask for better than that, especially at a new show that you've never been to before. So people aren't like recurring coming to you. It was just an absolutely great show. Turns out Texans love knives. Who would have thought? And there was a lot of amazing people came, and to see us, not specifically to the show, I would say, but like knew about us, had my knives in their pocket, which still blows my mind. So Friday was incredible. Saturday, we won the awards, and now there's people going to seek out those award winners. And we took the two awards and we set them on like a podium. Like we usually have a podium off to the side. We put that in the middle, and we put the two awards on and the two award-winning knives. And I haven't shown this yet, but the Myelin, which is the fixed blade that won.
Wow.
So the Myelin, we brought some to the show, not many, and they sold out Friday morning within an hour. And so people wanted these, couldn't get them all day Friday. And then Saturday, now this is the award-winning fixed blade. People doubly want it, and there's still none left. So I had to like make a little sold out sign to put next to the thing so that people knew that they couldn't buy it. But yeah, it was great. And then Saturday was usually the lesser of the busy days, but just as busy. It was absolutely nonstop.
Based on just the temperature of that show compared to Blade Show West experience in Atlanta, would you say it's a healthy? The knife industry is healthy and thriving at that show?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. One thing that I said the year we all got to go back to Blade Show after COVID, not the first year that it came back, because that was a little bit weird. People weren't going. I don't even think I went. I don't remember, honestly, now. I don't remember what the time span was. But the first Blade back, we all kept saying, like, the energy is incredible because people just want to be here. They missed being able to walk the tables, talk to people, check things out. And I felt that energy at Texas. Like, I felt the people were just like, couldn't, like, they were just happy to be there, happy to be checking things out, happy to be, being able to like chat with us and check out knives and buy knives. Like I honestly felt that at that show, which for a non Atlanta show, that's great. That's amazing.
That's awesome. I'm glad. It's funny.
There was a lot of people there.
From our point of view in the group, in the community, we're seeing primarily a secondary market, not a primary market. And sometimes it's hard to know like the vitality of the whole industry just based on one segment on Facebook. And something I think about a lot is like our Facebook group is really active and there's lots of dudes in here buying lots of knives, but it's a small part of the knife world in general. And if Facebook may be up or down, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the walk-in business is down or the show business is down or something something besides Spyderco is popular at the moment. So it's hard to know. Right. And it's nice to hear that the show went well and it was a lot of excited people there.
Yeah, no. From my perspective and my peers' perspective, there's ebbs and flows of the industry. Mm-hmm. And there's some very severe ebbs and flows. And I think right now, maybe it's slightly less than it was at, kind of the height last year.
Right.
but it's not low. But it's not low by any means. You know, for production companies. We did very well at that show, and I can't be upset at that. We had our Lux pre-order sold out extremely well. Can't be upset at that. We had our Blem drop. We had a Blem drop on Friday. That I'm pretty sure sold out. It's
okay.
Things are going okay,
Blem drop, that Instagram video you made dropping the knife. Was that real or was that staged?
No, it was 100% staged. And people don't believe me. And I went through my phone to try to find evidence that I set it all up. And we just have a picture from my sister's phone. A lot of people, if you don't know, my sister helps out with social media. She's amazing. I have me dropping it over and over on a cardboard box, so I could show that. But it's like, well, did he do that after he? No, but that was 3 videos that I edited together to make it look like I dropped it, it landed, and then fell into the thing. And I actually had to cut lily pads out of the canal nearby to lay in that water, because that water was 4 feet deep. So I had to put lily pads on there so that the knife could lay flat-ish and not just drop down to the ground. I'm like, guys, come on. I'm a professional. I don't throw knife. Have you ever seen me flip a knife over a drain before? Why would I do that?
I mean, I'm you're impressed. Very confident in your dexterity and your finger. You got your knives open with every single different finger. So I expect a lot.
Yep. You got if you can't pinky flick, then you're nothing, right? I'm still trying. I'm getting there. I can't quite do it.
Can you do the have you tried the front flipper on it with your pinky?
Ooh, pinky front flip.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Don't throw the knife.
I know I'm just going to drop
it. Make sure you
it
hold the clip.
Here we go.
Oh, nice.
Got it. Oh, thank you.
Tell me that's not satisfying.
It's pretty nice. It makes a nice jump in the hand. Yeah.
So this is the Nova. In case you guys haven't seen it yet, it has a belly to the blade, so the lines go straight across and the blade drops lower. High flat grind on it. So
nice little sharpening choil at the back. That looks nice. People like that feature.
It has aggressive jimping on the top and a proud front flipper. Oh,
yeah.
It is very satisfying to flip out.
So everyone knows Joseph normally has a very sophisticated video system for doing lives in his own groups and for doing demonstrations of his knives, and it wouldn't work with StreamYard. So tonight he had to make do, and so now tonight we have a little bit of lag in the audio video. Joseph, your video is slightly behind the audio. It's enough that a knife flip looks weird.
Should I refresh?
I'm not sure. Let me try popping you off and bringing you back. Actually. That might do it.
Try refreshing.
Let's try it again.
Here, try again.
Yeah, it's still lag. And he's gone.
I
have something to share while we're waiting, Tom.
Okay.
We should share, if you want to bring him back in, we should share this hilarious video.
Yes, I had it open on my computer too.
I love this video.
Oh, of course. It had to glitch. I tried it in the background and it didn't glitch. Now it's glitching. Isn't that the way?
Of course it is the way.
Don't sell your dreams.
Oh, come on,
Who?
internet.
At least it's not only me that's glitching, so that makes me feel a little better.
Yeah.
Oh, you're back on track. It's all synced up now.
Awesome. Yeah, sorry
Good,
about that,
that's all
guys. Let me
that.
close out other tabs and stuff, see if that helps.
All right, everybody, you'll have to go watch the video for yourself. Just go to Vero Engineering's Instagram account. You can see it there. You will laugh.
It's fantastic. Ricky told me beforehand that he was going to do it, and I was like, "Oh, I'm 100% in." It's the best.
My favorite part was Melissa Backwood showed up with a normal 3-inch knife. No, wait, no, she didn't. She had some sort of karambit samurai.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, Caldwell liked it. It's an amazing video for sure. Absolutely. So tell us, can you compare and contrast the two knives that you've shown us tonight? That we have one that's Best Tech made, we have one that's Riot made. If you were to compare the two, what would someone notice if they were holding it?
So big difference is weight. So
Okay.
obviously there is a size difference of the two. So not lengthwise, but one is, let me see if I can get these.
Oh, sure.
So this one has a much more height to it. Full back spacer. It'd be our first time having a lanyard hole on there. And it is a beefier knife, and it's meant for strong purchase.
Okay.
Large jimping. It's meant to be hard used. A little bit heavier, even though there is milling in the titanium to reduce the weight a little bit. It's not a light knife. It's not really a gentleman's carry. The Lux, on the other hand, is exactly that. So if you guys haven't noticed, let's see if I could get the focus on.
It looks honeycombed inside.
Yeah, I pulled out a lot of weight while trying to maintain the structural integrity of the scales. The blade is hollow ground to reduce the weight even a little bit more.
That's awesome.
Which has it's really thin behind the edge, and it has the front flipper and also a small rear flipper. When we brought these to Blade Show, the prototypes to Blade Show Atlanta, there wasn't a favorite. It was very clear that people liked the one or the other, and we were like polling people, like, "Oh, which one do you like?" And it was very clear people had a very strong choice, but there was no overall winner between the two. I'm sure that the award is probably going to skew that for a lot of people. This one, and then also I added the flipper tab here on this one. So I think this will probably be, kind of that go-to for a lot of people. But I don't want people to sleep on this one because it hasn't won an award and it doesn't have a rear flipper. It is very satisfying to front flip open. It feels great in hand.
I can imagine that being more satisfying for people that have big hands, because it's generally a taller profile is nice if you have a large palm. It makes it a little bit nicer to hold than a slimmer knife. Mm-hmm. So I'm imagining that'll really find an audience.
Yeah, for sure. And there was a lot of people at even the last show after this one won that were still really, really excited about this one, looking forward to it, which I love to see it. Also, this has the milled pocket on both sides, so you can do a thumb open on it. This could work really well with gloves as well.
A couple people in the chat say you look like Kylo Ren or Adam Driver. I haven't heard that one yet. Are you a Sith Lord?
Can you speak to the Best Tech? So one of those is Best Tech made, one of them is Riot made. Not necessarily a quality difference, but maybe why you're experimenting with the new manufacturer, or if you're transitioning, or if they're still going to be made by Best Tech, some models, or how is that going to work?
Yeah, for sure. No, we're definitely moving forward we're continuing with Best Tech and moving forward with some new designs with Riot. So, you know, a lot of people have been asking for a Riot made knife. I met David Dang at a show, and he was amazing, and it really fit well. A very interesting thing about it is that, you know, I've worked with Best Tech for a long time, and I'd like to think that I had a pretty big hand in elevating their production quality. So far that I think it would be very difficult for anybody to tell me without knowing which knife was made by whom. And, you know, I kind of take a lot of pride in that because there's, you know, this is an incredibly well-made knife. And in fact, I would say that this knife, the Best Tech knife, is better than my Mark I prototype for the Lux. And there's a reason for that, because Best Tech already knows me. They know my, they know exactly how I want chamfering and fillets and jimping, and just they're able to take my 3D CAD, convert it to their system, and there's a lot of unspoken now. They already, I don't need to tell them again how to do this thing. With Riot, they stayed very, very true to the design, and we didn't have enough back and forth on some things. So the knife that they gave me was fantastic, but needed iteration. So hold on, Adam Driver. No, that's fine. Listen, there's a lot of women out there, and men included, that think Adam Driver is one of the sexiest men alive. I'm sure he was probably on magazines for being sexiest man alive at some point in time. I'll take
Obviously,
it.
Brian thinks so.
Well, it could have been an insult, but you know, and I am rocking a little bit of a beard because I, you know, had to stay nice and clean shaven for Blade Show, so I took a week off of shaving. So it's, you know, Best Tech is doing a phenomenal job, and Riot, let's be honest, Riot's Riot. I've
shown your knife to hundreds of people. I'm sitting here on my desk. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Vero engineering knives. It's funny. Holy I pulled shit. Them all out, and I'm like, "There's another one." I've shown them to hundreds of people, and every time they'll say, "Who makes this?" and I'll tell them, and not once have they ever guessed it or went, "Oh, of course it is." They all went, "Really?" So I agree with you. Your standards and your attention to detail have probably raised the bar for them, and I know a lot of people have a more favorable opinion of the company post Vero. So
Paul, Paul is amazing. You know, I'll hear often that people say like, "Oh, Best Tech, they're the company that makes Vero," which is weird because back in the day, people would say, you know, Best Tech makes Vero knives, as in like lending Best Tech's credence to my production, right. You know,
right.
And you know, I'm glad that we're helping each other out now.
I think we should probably explain to everybody. We should explain to everybody what JVGS is. This is sort of, if you're in the Vero groups, you know what it means. But we got a lot of people that aren't yet in the group, and look at that; it's proudly displays on the coin.
So I have no idea. I think it was Tyler, maybe.
I think probably was.
A long time ago. Yeah, long time ago. I would do live streams back during, you know, the times when it was more active, when you couldn't face to face with a lot of people. So this was like a nice, fun way to like interact with people. So I would do a live stream, and we would lotto off knives. So we would lotto for the chance, which still blows my mind. You would lotto for the chance to buy one of the knives, you know, and we would do drawings. I hate that thing that pops up every time. You guys
Can't
have
get
it
it to
too?
go.
Oh, he's got doubles. All right, nice. That's incredible.
That was great. I like that.
That was great. Yes. So we would lotto off, and then we would call names for people, and they would have to be there to win the chance to purchase the knife.
I remember
and
that.
if they weren't there, yeah, it'd be kind of sucky because I know they want it, but they just they weren't able to make it. But if they did win it, I'd be like, oh, that's good shit. Like, he's here, awesome, good shit. And I guess I said it a lot. I guess I said it more than I thought that I said it. Where it became a thing, and now in the group, if something good happens, people say good shit, and so much so that JVGS, Joseph Vero, good shit, became a thing, and now it is a thing on a thing.
Yeah, I remember I used to say it a lot. And my favorite, I loved that part where you draw a winner, and then like there'd be 100 people watching, and instantly that dude would get tagged 100 times, and you'd be like, "Is he in here? Is he in here? You got to be here to win."
You're waiting,
He's not here. He's not winning, and we're gonna draw again. And everybody's like tagging, trying to get him to notice so he could come and claim his prize. That was so funny. You did a lot of those.
Yeah, it was fun. It was before Instagram changed things. It kind of sucks that it doesn't live streams don't work like they used to do. Instagram, frankly, just doesn't want them anymore. They want 30-second reels that are digestible,
right?
Which I get. It's it is what it is. So they just don't work. I was watching a Best Damn EDC live stream the other day. You have 45 people on there. I mean, it's Taylor Martin, who has 500,000 YouTube subscribers, and it's like it just kind of sucks. It's just like you want to be, and then you like I want to show off things. Like, I'm going to show off kind of like a new design here today, right? Because it's like you want to show it off to people. You want it to be live. You want people to see it that are interested in seeing it.
Yeah.
But Instagram just doesn't really do anything with them anymore. So, it's kind of shitty. Not good shitty, bad shitty.
JVBS. So it sounds like you have something new and exciting to show us. I'm sure everybody would like to see that.
Okay, so don't get everybody's hopes up. It's not a new knife.
Right.
So I have been teasing that I'm going to make something for a really long time. And that something is a bit driver. I take apart and assemble and QA and tune and have done, not to brag, but thousands and thousands of knives. And finding a bit driver was very, very difficult. And the bit driver that I did find that I love, there was still something that I wanted for it. So I ended up designing and printing a piece for it to get the bit driver that I want. And now it's a bit driver that we all use here, and it's fantastic. So I've been iterating a new bit driver. So I wanted to show you guys. Now, it's very early production. And in fact, there's actually 4 of them on the printer right behind me that you guys can't see yet. You can't really see there. But I will show you guys. So don't screenshot it and send it to anybody, because this is just for us here, okay? This is just us. And if it doesn't look like this when it's done, it's still early stages. I'm still iterating. So here is the bit driver.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Ooh.
I love it because it's got look at that. It's a bigger diameter closer to the tip. You need that. A lot of these are too skinny.
Exactly.
You can't torque them.
Right. So a couple things about that. One is that sometimes you want speed while you're pulling out a screw.
Right.
You want to be able to spin it. So you want enough mass on here so that it spins out the screw fully for you. Again, you're taking out a lot of screws. You don't want to have to do this to every single one. You want to be able to spin it and then have it pull the screw out for you. So that's one. So there has to be mass, but also if it's torqued down, you also want to be able to have a nice purchase.
Yep.
You want the circumference large enough to be able to have a purchase on it. You want to be able to spin fast. And what a lot of bit drivers don't have, and I have to do this frequently with bit drivers that I do use, is I have to like turn my hand upside down so that I can get 3 full fingers on it to break a screw loose.
Yeah.
And you need the mass there. So what I did was I put the tri-lobe here.
Nice.
So that you can put your thumb in there and get really good torque on it.
Yeah.
So if you have to break it loose, you don't have to move your hand fully. You just have to slide your hand down, put your thumb in there, get a nice torque, break it, and then head back to spinning it out. So
that's outstanding. There's a lot of skinny screwdriver style drivers out there that don't give you much torque, and then there's the big fat boys that give you lots of torque, but they're clunky, and you're probably going to drop it on your knife. So then you use the big one to break the screw loose, and then you set it down. You get the small one to do the spinning. Now you have 4 bit drivers on your desk. It's annoying.
Yep. Hellcat. So what's funny is Paul Zimmerman hit the nail on the head here. It does look like those cap darts. Does anybody remember those cap darts that had a little paper tabs on them? You put the paper tab in, and then it drops, and it goes pop. It's the little cap gun things. No, you didn't.
I don't remember.
Yeah. So it does look like that. We've talked about that quite a bit in the office. Magnetic bit. Yep. So there is a magnet in there for your bit. The tail cap. Probably going to do multiple kind of designs for the tail cap, so you can swap them out. Again, most people don't do a tail cap if they are using a bearing on theirs. So the tail cap is really important so that you can spin. You can spin the screws out on there, and obviously there's a bearing in here. So very, very happy with how this is. Iterated a bunch, and
if I can make a suggestion, get with Skiff. Have the Skiff guys build like 9 different kinds of bearing packages, so guys can get different grades of like ceramic and steel, so they can argue about which bearings are better in the handle. You'll get a lot of add-ons.
Wonderful idea. The Skiff guys are amazing. Yeah, for sure. So it's funny. I actually learned a lot about the bearings that a lot of the guys use for these. And they are roller skate bearings, and they have different grades of bearings. And I have I have one coming that's supposed to be fantastic, and it's a smaller diameter, which will allow me to use to come out with different iterations of that.
These titanium ones that a lot of different companies make, that if you look at them close, it's a skate bearing in there.
Yep. Yeah. So not thumbs upping. I'm playing with a bearing. Those are what's his name? I'm blanking on the name of that guy's driver. But I had a few of them.
Journeyman
that
Tools.
Driver was. Is that a Journeyman?
Mine is a Kerr. He's from Florida.
Kerr. Okay. Yeah, I have those. Here. Right?
Yeah.
Again, great. Doesn't have a thing on doesn't have a tail cap on this one, but again, this one's fantastic. Not enough torque on it, and frankly, it's a little too small for my liking as well. Which great for precision, but.
Do you have an opinion on Wera versus Weha, or which bits do you like better?
So Wera makes a fantastic driver. They have a little mini driver that I really, really like. I'm a Weha guy. All of our Fulcrums come with Wehas. they're just the industry standard. I mean, they're just fantastic. They are raising their prices. They're becoming a little pricey, which is, now you have to like weigh just getting 10 of another kind and just running through them. But yeah, we go through a lot of bits here. So these are your standard 1/4 inch, not the 4 millimeters. And we have the Tic Tac containers of these. And anytime it even remotely is not perfectly biting, we just throw it out, grab a new one. It's just a non-negotiable here. And it takes a while for them to not be perfect, but it happens.
When I first started, I was going through them faster, but now that I've been doing this for a while, I don't remember the last time I bought a T8 or reached for a new one. I've been using the same one for years and years, and I think there's something to just having good technique that makes them last more.
Yeah, something that a lot of people don't realize is, scratching the pivot is just this difficult. Being careful to not scratch the pivot. A lot of people don't understand how important it is. The steel on one of these is just going to scratch the shit out of your pivot. So again, having this here. So this is how I, kind of explain to people how to put their bit into their into the Torx hole, right? So you take your pointer finger, you kind of touch it to the side, and then you rock the bit in, right? So that's how we do it here. That's how everybody does it here. And having the fluted out section here allows you to get even closer to the bit, and you have a lot more control as you are setting it in and then rolling it up into the screw.
There's a crap load of Sliz Bowies that just shipped from Knife Joy this week, guys, and all of you are going to start futzing with your knives. And I'm telling you right now, please, 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 this is the softest screw known to the knifedom. This stupid T8.5. It's not a T9. It's not a T8. It's like a T8.5. You're going to scratch it. You have to be very careful. So Mr. Vero's technique is a good one. You want to make sure that you're being careful with the tip and don't just don't stab blindly at the screw.
And these are T6s. So these are even babier screws. These are not T8s back there.
At least the T6 fits in the screw. But try your T8, Tom. See if it rocks around like mine did.
I have mine.
No, mine just got a little. I can't tell because my screw's got a little play in it.
Yeah, mine clunks around a little bit. It's not quite a T8. So make sure you're using good tools, guys. Use the right tool for the job. So I assume
somebody.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No. It was, I noticed somebody did ask a question earlier. I did kind of want to get to that, if that's okay.
Sure. Which one?
So somebody asked, how long have I been designing knives and which I'm going to start? So I think what's interesting is there's probably a lot of new people that haven't seen our previous multiple, chats, and maybe starting, just quickly going through who I am. Maybe some people don't know.
Let's do a rewind here.
So hi, I'm Joseph Vero with Vero Engineering, award-winning Joseph Vero. I'm just making sure we got that established again in case anybody was new jumping in there right over there. I didn't let it get to my head at all. Don't worry. I was an engineer. I designed tech for law enforcement. I'm a mechanical engineer. And while I was designing tech, I designed a knife. This is actually, I didn't even know it was sitting here. This is my prototype for my first Impulse. Dirty, I use it quite a bit. You can see that it has the through hole. There was a little bit of miscommunication there. This is the first knife that I got at Blade Show 2019. They brought it to me. Showed it around to some people. People seemed to dig it. I ended up going into production with them. Did just over 100, and they sold out in the first night, which was crazy for an unknown knife designer. So started my first design towards the end of the year 2018. got my first knives 2019, and had to quit my job. Made my wife quit her job, and now made my sister quit her job. She already, she's so that's what we're doing.
It's been amazing to watch. I remember after the first knife came along, and everybody was talking about it. I think it was shortly after the Impulse you did your first Synapse run. If I remember right, that first run was about 250 pieces. So it was still, in the knife world, that's pretty small. For you, it probably scared the crap out of you. But
Very much so.
After that knife came out, you were as hot as Oz Machine Company in terms of, oh man, you got to try it. You got to see one. Can you get one? They were very hard to get, but good on you. You would sort of planned ahead, I guess, behind the scenes, and you had additional releases that you had probably already calendared. I bet you had red light, green light on each one. Like, do I go or not? But yeah, they were coming in a row. So I remember at one time they were pouring out. And I know for me, I had multiple pre-orders at one time because they were just coming, and you had to have them all.
Yeah, that was one of the scariest things about doing the pre-orders, and it being a small company and trying to balance what I was comfortable with versus what demand was. And I knew I wouldn't be able to meet demand. But I tried to do what I could to try to satiate the market. I know Jason remembers the secondary market was nuts. Like, it was nuts. And something that I wanted to do was try to satiate the production market so that the secondary market could calm down, because people were paying, just in my opinion, too damn much money. And again, I'm not price policing. I am all for somebody getting the knife that they want and paying what they are comfortable paying for it. I just felt bad that they had to do that. I felt bad that it was like, I just can't bring enough knives out to market. So
yeah,
I did everything I could.
It's a reliable economic indicator in that standpoint. If your people are paying triple the MSRP for a knife, then that tells you that you can increase your supply and not worry about inventory problems.
Right. That said, I couldn't just increase the supply. It was I wasn't necessarily worried about, can I move this product? It was more, I have to QA that knife. My wife and I have to package that knife. Like, I have to put funding in for this knife. I have to, there was so many more things, and people would just go, just make more. And I'm like, I can't just, you can't just do that. Like I have kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta be careful here. So yeah, it was, and then the other thing is, people were just like, oh, just do a pre-order and an open pre-order. I was like, well, I don't want people to have to wait a year for their knives, because, so balancing that was very difficult.
The industry got pretty out of control during COVID, during that time. Like, the pre-order thing, like, people just knew they couldn't buy a thing, so they wanted the idea that they bought a thing almost. It was like everyone just wanted as many knives as they could. And I don't know, I think at one point I had like 6 open pre-orders, and now the idea of doing that now is a little unbelievable that I went that far. Just, you had to have them all, and that was the only way to get them.
Yeah.
I think you've come a long way to being able to increase the availability, and then your forecasting is good. So you'll say this will be the last drop of the year, or I have one more drop later in the year, so people can kind of use that information and make a good decision. Yeah.
One thing that I've wanted to do for a while, and is just quite difficult just because of so many unknowns. I'm trying to do better at scheduling drops, scheduling product, but it's just, there's so many unknowns in production, in shipping, in QA, in last mile shipping, that it's just so difficult to do.
Yeah.
And again, we're not a big company here, so it's not like I can bank a bunch of product waiting for a drop later on for us to just have a big drop and just to move all the product all at once. It's just it's just not feasible. So that being said, we just announced the neurons, which I talked about a little earlier. We have a neuron drop in 2 weeks from now. I announced that Thursday of last week. It's not, I wish I could give more time, but I don't, between production ending, QC, QA, shipping in, prepping, and then shipping out,
that's a lot of time. Like I think there's too much time is a bad thing. You want there to be some sense of urgency, something stay fresh in someone's knives so they don't forget about it. I think that's okay. I mean, I know like people like to plan out when they can get knives and stuff, but Spyderco World, we get like a week notice usually before something drops.
Yeah. And even some of your drops, you're not getting notices from what I understand. I think River's Edge Cutlery just dropped something on a random Tuesday and it was just like, here, they're there.
Well, they don't know they're coming until Spyderco sends them an invoice. So you literally don't know. They don't call you to say in 3 weeks we're sending your knives. So you get what you get. I wanted to give you some kudos for your Damascus. The upcharge for Dama is, I think, $35. Isn't that right? That is a very modest increase for a very good-looking knife blade. Like, I think a lot of people avoid Dama because it's way more money, but you've managed to find Damascus that doesn't break the bank. So that's really cool.
And I've gotten on. We've done a lot of R&D on getting the finish right on those. I'd like to say that the finish is a little nicer than a lot of other people in the industry. It's weird to say, but like I've worked, we've worked to make sure that the etch and the highs, now obviously we have, like Bacon Damascus, which is Chad Nichols, that's $650 generally for that same knife in that Damascus. It's handmade Damascus, it's hard for us to get. And it's hard, it's difficult to work. It's Chad Nichols. It's just frankly very expensive. So I wanted to make sure that we were able to get a Damascus that is not crazy expensive, and you still get that nice Damascus look.
That's cool.
We will be having Damascus on the Mylons as well, coming up soon as well.
That's awesome.
We didn't, and then we did the pre-order. This was our first time we did the pre-order for the Lux, doing a relatively open pre-order for Bacon on one of our knives. I did have to shut that down very quickly because I wasn't expecting there to be as many people on an open pre-order as there was. And I actually had to go apologize to Chad Nichols in Texas and make sure he wasn't mad at me that we ordered what we ordered, and and he was like, no, it's fine. It's, Chad Nichols is the best. If you guys have never chatted with Chad Nichols, go to his booth and just chat with him. He's one of the coolest people. Just an absolutely great guy. What he makes is absolutely incredible. And he was totally cool about it. So,
wow. Cool. Joseph, do you happen to know if any of your dealers have regular synapses in stock?
The only synapse available right now, I think, is in Taiwan.
I know Cutlery Shop has XLs and minis, but they don't have the
XLs
regular.
and minis. Correct. Yeah.
Patrick Bryan's looking for a regular.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So, if you can jump, if you don't mind secondary, you can jump into the our marketplace. So we have a buy sell trade marketplace. So it's Vero Engineer, Facebook.com / Vero.
I'm trying to find it right now.
Vero Marketplace.
Yeah.
Totally know that.
Yeah, it's called Vero Marketplace. Vero Engineering.
Okay, yeah. They pop up there sometimes, not a lot. But if you like smaller knives, I highly suggest going with the Synapse Mini. If you like bigger knives, I highly suggest you going with the Synapse because they're available.
Yeah.
And so, again, not many.
right now the 2.96 inch knife is really hot. Like everybody likes a knife that's in that under 3-inch range, and that Synapse Mini is going to do that for you. If you like a knife that's in the Sliz Bowie range, like the 3.3, 3.4, that's where the regular Synapse is nice. And then if you like a big boy, if you like a almost 4-inch knife, you're going to want the XL. But yeah, the marketplace is great. There's a lot of good guys in there. There's a lot of knives that come and go for sale, and it's moderated really well, so it's pretty safe.
Until
I'm not
somebody
saying
posts
it's
a
always
picture of their
safe.
foot there.
Yeah, I noticed that. I almost made a comment, but
I'll do it.
so yeah, great place to buy, sell, trade. So don't sleep on that.
Thanks, Jake. That's awesome to hear. Your collection looks amazing. The River's Edge cutlery. I think it's River's Edge cutlery that did the last one as well. That's just incredible.
Not my collection anymore. I don't work there anymore.
Sorry? No. Jake Mack.
Oh, Jake Mack. No, Jake.
Jake. His bomber. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, his are legit.
Yeah.
Been loving the Thin Pulse. The Thin Pulse is killer. I love the Impulse, and a little bit thinner was not a bad thing. But what I like most about it is the blade shape. I love the belly on it. Not that I don't love a Tanto, but this just looks really good.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a very good like workhorse, not a workhorse knife, like a carry, like a knife you want to throw in your pocket, carry, go use, because it's great at slicing. It's great, because it's a little bit thinner, great at slicing, has a nice belly on it.
So this is a big knife, but it's also a carryable knife. It's not going to be a pocket hog. And I happen to have, I believe, the only DLC hand rub, Tom.
Ooh, I think you do.
Okay.
So what I was going to say was the Synapse XL also carries really, really well. It's thin enough to fit in your pocket, and you could still put your hand in your pocket. A lot of knives that size, they're kind of difficult. They're kind of difficult to carry.
Right.
I want to make sure that the Synapse XL did carry really well.
And it does. It carries great. It's I don't know. Tom and I talk about it all the time. This is my most fun.
Yeah.
My most fun Vero. When you flick it and you get the thwack, it's just great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Really capable, beautiful knife. Oh man.
I want to thank everybody in your group for posting their Veros today. Awesome. Love seeing the coins today. It was very awesome to see. So thank you guys for that.
Your coin was incredible. I loved it. And when it came in the mail, I kept looking at it and finding more levels of detail in it. Really excellent. What is it made of?
It's titanium.
It's a titanium coin. Okay.
Full titanium coin. And I lasered on here.
Okay.
I iterated the hell out of that. I wanted to make sure that it was like, special, because it was our first coin, and I wanted to make it a little bit different than what I think a lot of people do out there.
Yeah, I don't know. The way that it catches the light is really, really great. It just has a really beautiful luster to it. Let's see. Patrick Bryan wants to see an Impulse Thin and a Lux. Would you have them both handy?
So I don't have an Impulse Thin up here. Yeah, I do.
I want to see what's on his wipe-off board. This is Keys to Success over in the corner there.
What was that? I'm sure it's really smart, intelligent stuff. Trust me.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, so it is.
Sorry.
Okay.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay, so covering up both knives. It's difficult to do. All right, there we go. Let's do that. Okay, so it is slightly longer. It's thinner this way. Same blade stock. The Lux is slightly lighter, albeit a little bit larger. Let's see if I can get a... So the Impulse is actually, the handle is slightly taller. And
the hollow grind is significantly different. That's gonna make it even slicier, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Blade to handle ratio on the Lux is substantially different. You can see here, it's a smaller blade, smaller handle, but a larger blade.
It's interesting. I'm looking at my thin pulse now, and it's not 50-50. So you're saying the Lux is closer to 50-50?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so a couple things that affect that pivot location. So here you can see pivot location on the Lux is a lot higher up, which allows for when the blade closes, you have less blade hidden by the scales.
Okay. Interesting. I've been able to sit down with Chris Ortiz at Cerberus while he took me through a knife design, and he's, bringing me in and out and showing me where the stop pin goes and where the lock bar is, and and the pivot, and just explaining the geometry of that area inside the knife. Like, these are the things that you have to think about. I think you might have taken me on a tour of that too once, now that I think. But it's really fascinating that so much of this, you kind of have to work backwards from those dimensions when you're building the knife, or you have to try to cram it in if you start with the outside of the knife. But they both have to work in harmony, don't they?
Yeah. So I actually changed how I design. What's funny is I have a draw. Just seeing a drawing on my thing. This is, I think, was the original drawing for the myelin.
Yeah.
It obviously changed quite a bit since then. But how I design now, I used to design in CAD from so maybe I would do a hand sketch, put it into CAD, and then extrude that into 3D and then iterate that. I actually use an Apple Pencil now and an iPad to either take a hand drawing that's literally on the back of a napkin or something into digital 2D, iterate there until I'm happy with the 2D dimensions, 2D aesthetics, and then put it into CAD. And then in CAD is where I just completely iterate it a million different ways, a million different times, until I get a product that I print and I'm happy with, and how it looks and how it feels. The interesting thing is that it's difficult to get the blade and handle and pivot geometry where that pivot lives in 2D without, and I know a lot of people that do this, without cutting out the blade in paper, cutting out the handle in paper. It's putting a pin in it and flipping it back and forth and figuring out where that is. Fortunately, I could do that pretty well in CAD. So what my 2D drawing looks like on my iPad, transitioning into 3D CAD and then ultimate final design, is vastly different because of the pivot geometry.
I imagine 3D printing protos as you go is probably invaluable too. Because have you spent a bunch of time on CAD to print it only to hate it when you held it? Does that ever happen?
No. What's funny is the CAD. I think I mentioned this before, that when I'm designing, and I get to a certain point, I get to a stopping point. I go like, I'm happy with this design. What I do is I just like I like put it away. Like I don't visit that CAD for a while. And if I keep thinking about that design and I keep wanting to go back and like seeing if it's good or not, or or if I want to print it to test it out, I know it's a good design. Like that's how I know I get to the right spot. And then that's when I finally go in, check it. Yep, I'm happy. And then I start iterating in 3D. But more often than not, designs fail in 3D CAD before they even get printed because I know that I can't get it to a point that I will be happy with it. And I'm very particular with knives that end up going 3D printed because once I get them to the point where I can 3D print them, that takes a lot of work. And I'm like, I don't, it's, it's a very interesting, internal monologue that I have is like, is this good enough to print? Am I happy with this to get it to print?
Well, it sounds like 3D printing is not so simple then, because you're going to spend a lot of time setting that part up. Is that true?
So it's how do I put it? It's less about setting it up to print and more about me going that final mile in the design, getting to the finishing touches in the design to end up getting it to print. Okay. I have to be super happy with the design, like aesthetically and mechanically, for me to go, okay, I'm now going to take this design and finishing touches it, and lock geometry, how I want the clip, how I want. I mean, if anybody's ever designed anything in 3D, you looking at this knife like this a million times, like this a million times, a million, and with this on, with this off, and it's an amazing experience to be able to do that, and especially to get something that you can just go ahead and print. But the finishing touches, getting it from like an extruded 2D drawing into a full-fledged 3D model, that's what takes the most amount of time. This right here took a lot of time too, because it was I didn't know what I wanted. This was very difficult because how do you take something that's just tubular like this? You could just increase the mass on it, put some knurling, and call it a bit driver. And honestly, that's what a lot of people do. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that because it's utilitarian. You just need, something that spins. But I wanted something something mine. I wanted something a little bit better. It needed to function better. Otherwise, why make it? So, adding some of the things that, I don't know if you guys noticed, but it has our milled pockets.
Yes. That's funny.
Matching milled pockets, but they're functional because they add grip to it. And the scallop sections here for that. There's a purpose.
Yep. Paul, I'm happy to help, but I don't know that the man needs help. His knives sell out. They do really well. Question about
very
bit
lucky.
Storage. Will there be a storage inside the bit driver?
No. A couple reasons why not. What was very, very important to me on this bit driver was having the mass even, so that it doesn't. So again, I gotta try to find find something that I can show it on.
While you do, let me add something to this. Hey guys, because Joseph is smart and an engineer, he only uses one size bit, one size screw on his knives, so you kind of don't need other bits.
Almost predominantly. The
Oh,
Axon Mini frame locks and the Axon Minis do have T6s
do
because
they?
because we physically couldn't fit the T8s in there.
I
Trust me,
understand.
I'm not happy about it, but
I know.
it is what it is. Okay, so again, I'll kind of show you guys how I do the thing, and it seems obvious, but showing this to some people, they never thought to do that. They just go, boom, straight in. So again, pointer finger in the scallop, and then I roll here. I look for the bit. I click one in, and then roll it up. And as I roll it up, I roll it around, and then that's how I get it in there. And I've saved a lot of pivots being scratched by doing it that way. Okay, so the idea here is to, because that was a little tight, so you break it that way, and then you spin it, and you want it to spin easily. And if there is bits in here, and let's say there's one bit on this side, but you took out a bit on this side, it won't be balanced, and it'll feel weird as you're doing it. So I didn't want to put bits in there. I considered maybe putting bits back here or something, but that was short-lived. I didn't like the idea. I wanted this nice and clean back here, and having the ability for it to spin a screw out saves you a lot of time, and kind of feels good too.
Makes a lot of sense. I love it. I can't wait for any idea when that might happen.
So I'm working on finalizing design as we speak. Obviously, that's the latest iteration on there.
Right.
And then I'm going to go meet with a friend of mine who owns a machine shop, and we're going to get some prototypes going.
Very cool.
Yeah, very excited about that.
Before we go, we should probably hit on one more thing that you have out there. By now, I'm sure all of you have seen that Vero also has kitchen knives, and I see two of them are ideally displayed right behind your left shoulder there.
Oh, those things right there! I didn't even notice them sitting right behind my other
like
shoulder.
They're ready to make a salad for us. Can you tell us about your kitchen knives?
Absolutely can do. So Nitro V steel. They are internally pinned. Obviously, high flat grind on them. These are dirty because I do actually use them. They are well balanced, and if you notice on this side, it has the milled pocket here. This is the 6-inch chef knife. The milled pocket is functional, meant for you to be able to pinch, grip your knife. So, a lot of people hold their knives like this, which is fine. I'm not one of those people that are going to tell you not to do that. And a lot of people hold their knives like this. Again, if it's comfortable for you, have at it. But I pinch up on the top here. A lot of chefs do as well. And there's a reason for that. You have a lot better control, a lot better balance on the knife. If you force yourself to do this for a few nights cooking, you'll find yourself grabbing it like this more and more, just because it does work. It just really, really works like that. So having the milled pocket gives you kind of an indexing point for it, for you to grab there, and being able to use a knife like this. So that's a 6-inch chef.
I've held those at Blade Show. They're amazing. They're really nice in the hand.
Thank you. I appreciate that. The handles are contoured, and the
Can
idea
you show us
here.
what the handle looks like from the spine?
Sure.
So they're not only contoured top to bottom, but they get fatter as you move away from the blade.
Yeah. And then also, if you notice here, see if we can focus.
Full tang.
Full tang, but the blade steel is thinner here.
Interesting.
So what I did was I had the entire blade ground at an angle and then fitted with the handles, instead of having a plunge on the side here.
I
Interesting.
see.
Does
So
that mean
if you-
is there a camber to the handles too?
So yes, the handles are as well. It's not as noticeable because the design of the handle.
I understand. Yeah.
So, if it was a block, there would be, but the handles, are have the facets on there, and a big reason is because the chamfers here, if you can imagine the bottom of my screen being a cutting board, more often than not, on a utility knife, which is actually the knife that I most often use in the kitchen, you can't chop with it because your knuckles will hit the board. So the idea is that you pinch high on it and you use your fingers on these chamfers here. And that way you can do full chops. You can use the knife as if it was a chef knife, but then also have just a utility blade to be able to use. Nitro V steel, again, like I mentioned, they are available on the website.
I know a little bit about Nitro V. I know that it's you can put a crazy good edge on Nitro V. So if you wanted to make that knife extremely slicey and you have a nice cutting board, you could go down to 12 degrees on that steel, and it's going to do it'll strop back sharp, but you can do insanely good slices with tomatoes and vegetables and things like that. It'll work really well.
Yeah. I've been using an AMK 75 sharpener. I know it's not a guided sharpener. I'm sorry, Tom, but it's a belt system that I have here, and I've been getting some incredible edges on these things. It's great to work with.
I've slept since I read it, but I'm pretty sure that nitro steels, part of the appeal is that the nitrogen changes the lubricity of the steel. Do you know that to be true, Joseph?
No, as much as I'd love to say I'm a metal nerd, I'm not. That's why all my knives are M3. I'm M390 steel. We're gonna, I love M390 steel. I know knives on how they sharpen and how they hold an edge. And ironically, in college, my favorite class was like nano. What's the class called? Micro. Sorry, guys, it's late. And I did a study on grain size and how grain size affects the mechanical thermodynamic properties of materials. And you knowing what I knew then before I was ever really into steels, understood why powder metallurgy was so important and how it affected knives. And that's kind of the extent of my knowledge of it. Sorry to say.
I can't remember where I read it now. It was probably Laren Thomas, but the gist of it was that if you introduce nitrogen into the steel, it creates enhanced lubricity, so you get less of the stickiness of the steel itself. So it becomes better at passing through the stuff you're cutting. So also the hardness is not necessarily, you can't crank the hardness up to 66, 67 on a nitrogen steel, but the trade-off is that it slices better. And then the particle metallurgy is going to make for a smaller carbide. So that means you're going to have more stability at the edge and less chipping. So all that to say that some people think Nitro V is a cheap steel. It's not some sort of like Ferrari steel, but it's for a kitchen knife, it's the steel you want. It's not the wrong steel for that job.
Yeah.
You don't need a Maximate kitchen knife. That's not necessarily.
No, you don't want a Maximate kitchen knife.
Agreed.
Might like to try one, but I wouldn't want to have to sharpen it all the time because it's all chipped up and beat up from my wife throwing it in the sink,
Yeah, a lot of people were using M390 for their kitchen knives. When I was doing the research to choose the steel, I was like, should I use M390? And honestly, just from the fact that most people can't sharpen it, and a lot of people, can't sharpen it well. A lot of people are going to use this knife a lot, and they're not going to be able to sharpen it well or easily, I should say, or get a good edge on it. M390 steel is difficult to get a really crisp edge on. So then they're going to have to send it out to get sharpened. I don't want people to have to do that. Nitro V, you can get at least a serviceable edge relatively easily on it.
Another great steel in the kitchen is BD1N. What's the commonality? You got N there. You got nitrogen. So works pretty good. True. That's awesome. So Joseph, anything else you want to? I know you've been up late and you had a long day, so I don't want to keep you all night. But you've been on for almost an hour and a half now. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
No. So 2 weeks from now, we have the neurons going up. If there are any of you out there that don't love flipper tabs, which I couldn't imagine why. So we have the neuron with no flipper. So it's a non-flipper neuron, non-locking, non-flipper. So in case you live in an area that you're not allowed to have a flipper, we'll have those. We have the regular neurons in full titanium, which do have the flipper tab. So front and rear flipper, milled pocket on both sides. Again, non-locking. That is going to be not next Thursday, but the Thursday after. The Mylins, as we've talked about, here is the blackwash Mylin.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Hoping to have a drop on these last Thursday of March. Again, it's one of those things where it's like all of the things have to come together for this to happen, which is why we haven't actually announced it, but that is the plan. We have the Luxes. A lot of people are asking when the next drop is. So the pre-order did sell out on these. And I'm telling everybody just after Blade Show, which is still somewhat ambitious because the pre-order time was 7 to 9 months, and that pre-order was only a little while ago. But I will tell you guys here that I am doing everything I can, which isn't much, to try to get these shipped out before Blade Show so that we can have some at Blade Show.
That'd be awesome. You want everybody to have it in their pocket.
Exactly. It would be absolutely incredible to see.
I'm glad to see you haven't run out of nervous system names. Mylin. Good choice.
I mean, listen, it had to be, right? It's a Mylin with a Mylin sheath. It just works. It just works. It just makes sense. It has to be.
It's good shit.
Not do that. It's good shit.
Good shit.
Thank you very much for being on our show again. I think you're the second most frequent guest after Jeff Lawfer. I think you're a 4-timer now, maybe 5-timer.
Wow.
I'd have to go back and look, but we always appreciate seeing you. I'm glad we could catch up and give us a tour of the stuff. It's awesome.
Well, that means a lot. I really appreciate that. Thank you guys. I love being on the show. I love your group. You guys, what you guys do there is incredible. The people in your group is incredible. I, of course, have to say everybody in my group, my group's the best, and your guys is, but your guys is the best. So I'm okay with that because we have a lot of commonality there. So I'm totally cool with you guys having the best group. Period.
I would venture to guess that probably 50% of your group also is in our group. So
there's definitely a lot of there's a lot of crossover there.
Yes.
Which is awesome. I've been a Spyderco guy for a very, very long time. I think I've talked about it here with the first good knife I ever bought was a shitty PM2 that needed the tip broke off or something like that, and that was my gateway drug into higher end pocket knives, and now I own a damn company. So
taking over the world one at a time. Thank you, Joseph. Right. Thanks for being a part of the show. Thanks for watching, everybody. It was a long goodbye. It's a very Midwest goodbye over here at FFIB, and a lot of goodbyes in the chat. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you have a nice night.
We'll see you guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.